Okay, there is a few videos on YouTube showing you how to drop the tank and replace the fuel pump on the TJ. But I have an '06 and there are some differences, so I want to go through those differences with you guys. On the older models of TJ, I think '04 through '97, there is a plastic ring that seals the fuel pump to the tank. And it's basically a threaded ring that you just spin on over top of the fuel pump there, and it basically holds it into the tank. On the '06 model, I don't know if it did it on the '05 or not, but definitely the '06, there is a metal ring and there's metal clasps on the tank over there, and you have to really hit that son of a bitch hard to get it off. And then once it popped off, I really noticed that the fuel pump was spring loaded. So I guess that keeps the pump all the way in the bottom of the tank. The second thing that I noticed that was different was on the bottom of the fuel pump there's no strainer. It's basically a huge filter built right into the bottom of the fuel pump. I'm not replacing this fuel pump. It's still the factory one and it's in good shape, so I'm not worried about replacing that. The reason why I pulled the fuel tank off was to find out why I can't get any fuel into my Wrangler without it cutting off. And I read different things where people either had fuel spilling out and spitting on them, which it did to me once when I first bought it. And then there was a problem where you couldn't get any fuel into the tank. Every time you tried to get it into the tank, it would just click off. And that's the problem that I was having. I guess it got stuck in the up position, which is this valve right here. This valve is actually in the filler neck of the fuel tank. And what happens is these little flanges on the side, let's get it to the light so to focus, those little notches right there swell up over time with the ethanol and the fuel. And I don't know why Jeep didn't think about this in '06. I guess there wasn't really enough ethanol in the fuel back then to worry about it, or they didn't know it was going to happen. But what you got to do, I watched another video on YouTube, and basically you got to take a Dremel or some sandpaper and you got to Dremel those little notches down because they expand it with the ethanol and it won't allow it to slide. And I'll give you guys kind of an example of what's going on here. Just try hard to get this thing back together with one hand, which was what was happening to the guy in the other video too. He was trying to hold the camera and film what was going on at one time. Okay, so there it is in the full up position. And basically what happens is when you're putting fuel into the tank, so there it is into the full upright position. And that keeps fuel from spilling back out, I guess in case of a rollover or in case of overfill of the tank. But what happens is I think people overfill the tanks and the fuel actually sits on this piece and it swells up so that when it pushes down, you can see mine got stuck right there, which is like half open. And what happens there is only that little bit of area right there is letting fuel get through. And it's just clicking off like every 5 cents, 10 cents of gas, and it takes me about an hour to fill my tank up. So I finally just got tired of it, dropped the tank, which was not the easiest task in the world on these '06s. And I found the issue, and you see it as I'm pushing, it's still getting stuck. Right there, it's getting stuck in the open position, but it would allow fuel in. Mine was stuck halfway, right about there. So the fuel isn't actually enough to push that down before it backs up and shuts the pump off. And another problem that I had with the '06, I didn't notice it on earlier models, the evap stuff, there's a connection right here that everyone says you have to take off. That one right there, and it says it requires a fuel disconnect line to get that off of there. And if you take that off and drop the tank, this line's still connected all the way across the tank over to the filler neck. So it doesn't make any sense to take this one off here. You can just go up into the passenger side wheel well on the back and just disconnect it from the evap canister. And the way that one disconnects, I know no one showed this on a video before, there's basically a little plastic piece that goes in here, and once you push the line in, you push that plastic piece in and it holds that line from coming back out. And actually, I didn't know how to get it out properly, so as you notice, I broke mine in half. It will still work. It's not a big deal. I can just put each half back in to hold the the line back onto the evap canister, which isn't the biggest deal in the first place. I mean, if it gets a leak, it's going to give me a trouble code, but then I'll worry about replacing it then. Probably a dealer part, which I have to order or find somewhere at a junkyard. But just wanted to show that to you guys. That's another problem that you'll have when you drop this tank. And here's the metal clips that hold that metal ring on. And I'm telling you, I was hitting this thing pretty hard with a hammer, so this thing must be plastic welded in there pretty good. But it took me about 20 minutes just to get that ring off of there. I don't know if it's because of all the sand that's around there or not, but I'm definitely not looking forward to taking it off again. So I'm going to make sure I Dremel this thing down pretty good this time, so where it doesn't get stuck again. But thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to show you the couple differences. And this skid plate's actually wrapped around this gas tank, so you don't have to drop the skid plate and the gas tank separately. When you pull the skid plate, it comes off with the gas tank, and then it bolts to the gas tank, which I thought was pretty cool. It takes one less step out of this. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something about the 06 TJ and the no fuel or fuel spill out of the filler neck problem. If you guys have any questions, just leave comments down in the comment section, and I'll try to get back as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys can see I just use regular sandpaper, and I sand those tabs the tiniest little bit, and look how much smoother it is already. I mean, it'll actually shoot out of there now. I'm going to probably give it just a little bit more. I can feel it wiggle in there a little bit, but I'm going to give it a little bit more in case it swells up again. But that's the fix. I mean, I know a lot of people are putting those new filler necks and stuff like that on there, but this is the proper way to fix this 05, 06 and up fuel spillback or no fill problem. Once again, thanks for watching, guys.